This is another episode of the CRM Position Podcast. The structural shift you're feeling in the tech world isn't just an update, it's a metamorphosis. We are seeing the death of the rigid, hard-coded enterprise application and the rise of the autonomous operating entity. Today, we are taking a deep dive into the sources outlining this seismic event, focusing specifically on the new expertise required to master these autonomous systems, the Agentblazer status, and the Agentforce specialist certification.
And that urgency you mentioned is palpable because, look, this is no longer a theoretical change in architecture. This shift has immediate, measurable career consequences.
It's happening right now.
Right now. Sources suggest that the adoption of these advanced AI tools has already led to the displacement, or at least the required repositioning, of as many as 4,000 platform professionals globally.
Wow.
So this isn't just about learning a new feature. It's about a structural overhaul of how work gets done, which underscores this urgent, immediate need to upskill.
The expertise required to thrive in this new landscape has changed, almost overnight. It demands a completely different cognitive model. So our mission today is clear. We're cutting through all the generic AI buzzwords to show you precisely why the old workflow-driven CRM approach, where everything was defined by rigid clicks and hard-coded logic, is now, obsolete. We're focusing only on the new standard of expertise.
And we really need to explore why the industry is demanding this shift, this move toward what they're calling the agent-first mindset.
Right.
The traditional CRM professional, they built systems based on what is possible, given a very rigid set of rules. The Agentblazer, on the other hand, builds systems based on what is desired, and then they allow the AI to dynamically figure out the how.
So how do we actually define this new class of professional? We hear the term Agentblazer thrown around constantly. What is it really?
An Agentblazer is fundamentally an architect of digital labor. That's the simplest way to put it.
An architect of digital labor. I like that.
Yeah. They're the professionals who have the technical capacity to design, to implement, and maybe most importantly, to supervise a digital workforce made up of autonomous, goal-oriented agents. They're leveraging tools like Agentforce 360 not to create static forms or reports, but to scale entire business functions smarter, maximizing efficiency without adding all that manual overhead.
And the market data suggests this is an existential problem for companies right now, not a nice-to-have.
Oh, it's a massive, immediate skill crisis. Our sources indicate that a staggering 76% of companies report a critical gap in the AI skills they need.
76%.
And that's for effective, secure, large-scale AI deployment. More broadly, something like 88% of the global workforce currently lacks these competencies.
So this is where the Agentblazer status comes in.
Yeah.
It's the roadmap.
Exactly. Spanning the champion, innovator, and legend levels, it's the industry's structured, verifiable answer to bridge this specific career-defining gap. It is, frankly, the new baseline for anyone who's serious about platform expertise.
Okay, let's unpack the core philosophical and, architectural difference between the old way of building systems and this new Agentforce paradigm. Think back just a few years ago. If you wanted to automate something that seems simple, like a complex customer order cancellation, that involves inventory checks, refund processing, communication updates, what did that actually require?
It was an exercise in just tedious, deterministic programming. Before agentic AI, building that cancellation workflow meant you had to account for every single possibility and every single failure mode using if-then statements.
Oh, the endless branching logic.
Endless. If the order status is A, then do B. If the item is backordered, then send email C. But wait, if the customer is a platinum member, you have to send email D and route them to supervisor E.
You literally had to pre-code the entire decision tree.
Exactly. You were forced to hard-code thousands of specific, rigid, logical branches. The developer had to foresee every single contingency.
And the moment something unexpected happened,
the system would just hit a dead end. The moment a customer presented a unique scenario that wasn't in those pre-coded branches, maybe they ordered product X but used a discount code only valid for product Y, and they want the refund credit applied to a different account. The system breaks. It requires a human to step in, or worse, it just throws an error. It was brittle and incredibly slow to adapt.
The Agentforce model, though, it completely changes that entire contract between the developer and the system. Agents don't follow predefined scripts. They observe, they reason, and then they act dynamically.
That's the structural metamorphosis we were talking about at the start. Instead of coding every possible path, the Agentblazer defines the ultimate goal.
The outcome.
The desired outcome, yeah. Something like, successfully resolve customer service case 1234, including refund issuance and inventory restock. The agent, using its reasoning engine, then dynamically composes and executes the sequence of steps it needs to achieve that goal at runtime, and it adapts in real time if the first step fails.
This sounds less like software automation and more like creating a digital team member.
It is the delivery of sophisticated digital labor. Agentforce 360 lets businesses deploy these autonomous entities across the whole 360-degree view of the customer sales, marketing, service, commerce. And critically, this frees up human time for interactions that require true empathy or creativity or, highly nuanced judgment.
For small businesses, this has to be revolutionary.
Oh, absolutely. It allows them to immediately scale complex operational tasks without the traditional costs. They can genuinely punch above their weight.
But the key question remains, what gives the agent this capacity for autonomous planning and adaptation? I mean, traditional software doesn't reason.
That is the Atlas reasoning engine. This is the specialized foundational component of Agentforce. It's the cognitive core that gives the agents their capacity for planning, for multi-step problem solving, and for that dynamic adaptation we keep talking about. It is the key architectural difference that separates these agents from, the scripted bots or basic chat bots of the past.
And Atlas doesn't just run a script. It follows a cognitive framework, right?
Yeah. It relies on the REACT framework, which stands for reasoning and action. And this is not a linear one-and-done process. REACT operates in a continuous iterative loop.
A loop, okay.
Yeah. After every action the agent takes, whether it's checking a database or executing a flow, it pauses, it evaluates the result of that step, it forms a new internal thought, which is the reasoning part, and then it decides the next step, the action. This continuous feedback loop allows it to keep moving toward the goal even if it hits roadblocks.
Okay, let's get into the specifics of that loop, because this seems like where the real Agentblazer expertise is forged. When a customer sends a complex request, can you walk us through the technical flow Atlas uses to process it?
Sure, it begins with topic classification. The incoming query is immediately analyzed for intent. This is crucial because it maps the query to the most relevant pre-configured topic or area of focus within Agentforce.
So if the intent is order issue, it routes to the order agent.
Exactly. It instantly scopes the agent's available actions and its knowledge base.
And that scoping is really the first line of defense against the agent going rogue or overreaching. Once it knows what it's supposed to be doing, it needs the resources to actually do it.
That leads to the next step, context assembly. Atlas rapidly gathers and injects all the necessary information into the prompt that goes to the underlying large language model, the LLM.
And what's in that context?
It includes the Agentblazer's specific instructions and guardrails for that task, the defined scope, and the recent conversation history, typically the last 6 turns to maintain conversational relevance. This step ensures the agent is grounded in the current reality of the interaction.
Then the rubber meets the road in the decision-making process.
That's the reasoning loop. The LLM takes all that assembled context and performs a critical evaluation. What is the single best next step to achieve the stated goal? And the choice is binary.
Okay.
Does it have enough reliable, grounded information to provide a direct answer, or must it execute an action? An action could be calling an external service, triggering a flow, running some Apex, or retrieving data from Data Cloud.
So if the agent decides it needs more data or needs to change a record, it moves into execution.
Right, the execution and observation phase. If an action is taken, say, a flow runs to change the customer's address, Atlas captures the entire output and the result of that action. This crucial observation is then fed back immediately into the reasoning loop.
So it's constantly checking its own work.
Constantly. The agent reevaluates. Did that action succeed? Did it get me closer to my goal? If the address change failed because of, say, a validation rule, the agent doesn't quit. It reasons that the next step must be to ask the user for verification or maybe try an alternate action path.
This ability to pivot mid-task, to observe a failure and then self-correct, that's what makes it fundamentally different from a brittle if-then script.
Absolutely. The deterministic system fails when the developer fails to foresee an outcome. The agentic system simply requires the Agentblazer to define the goal and provide the necessary tools, the actions, and the necessary knowledge, which is the data grounding. The agent manages the dynamic pathfinding itself.
And before the final answer is provided, there's one more critical safety measure you mentioned earlier, the grounding verification.
Correct. The system runs a final safety check, just called grounding verification, to ensure the final output is compliant. And compliance means it adheres to the agent's configured policies, the organization's ethical guardrails, and, most importantly, that the answer is supported by the trusted data it retrieved, not just a generalized answer from the LLM's training data.
You mentioned a measurable impact earlier, a 33% increase in general accuracy and doubling the relevance of responses compared to internal deterministic systems. That's a massive justification for this architecture. Why is that specific 33% gain happening? What's the mechanism?
That 33% increase isn't just statistical noise. It stems directly from the implementation of that React loop and the grounding verification step. Think about that brittle deterministic system. The moment it hits a failure point, its accuracy immediately drops to zero because the task is aborted or gets handed off to a human.
Right, it's a hard fail.
It's a hard fail. Atlas, because of its continuous reasoning and observation, can roll back a failed step, dynamically replan the next action, and attempt a different, better path. That capacity for immediate self-correction and iterative refinement within the same interaction is the core architectural insight that drives that accuracy gain. It's the safety net built into the AI's own cognitive process.
So if an agent tries 3 different steps to resolve an issue, and the first 2 fail but the third one succeeds, Atlas records a success, where the old system would have recorded 2 failures and an abandonment. That really changes the operational metrics.
Precisely, and that's why the Agentblazer Legend status requires such deep mastery of the Atlas Engine domains, because you have to be able to design and observe the success of those dynamic paths, not just code the individual steps.
Okay, so we've established that the agents can reason autonomously. But an autonomous agent with poor judgment is a massive liability, especially when you're dealing with proprietary or customer data. How do we ensure these goal-oriented agents don't compromise that data or generate harmful misinformation in pursuit of their goal?
That is the trust imperative, and it is, without a doubt, the foundational pillar of Agentforce. Knowledge is invaluable, but only if it's applied securely and ethically. For any Agentblazer, mastering governance and responsible AI is completely non-negotiable.
This immediately brings us to the most critical component for securing enterprise AI, the Einstein trust layer. What is the mechanism that prevents that nightmare scenario, leaking proprietary business data out to external large language models?
The Einstein trust layer is the security sentinel of the entire Agentforce ecosystem. Its primary job is multifold. First, it performs data masking. It will anonymize or remove sensitive personally identifiable information, or PII, before the prompt is even sent to the LLM.
So the LLM sees the intent and the context of the query, but it never sees the actual customer's name or their account number.
Exactly. Secondly, and this is critical, it manages the audit trail, providing a transparent log of what data was used and what was generated. And thirdly, and this is the most fundamental part for security, it ensures zero data retention on the LLM side for all conversation data.
So it's fire and forget.
It's fire and forget. It prevents business information from inadvertently leaking out and being used for the general training or knowledge base of external models. The trust layer ensures the model forgets the conversation data the moment the response is generated.
This security assurance has to be rock solid, which must be why concepts around ethics, governance, and the trust layer are baked in right at the entry-level Agentblazer champion stage.
It's a prerequisite. You can't even begin building agents until you understand these guardrails. Without that verifiable, robust trust boundary, no CIO is going to let generative AI touch highly regulated customer records, financial data, or core operational secrets. The trust layer is what converts theoretical AI risk into governable enterprise capability.
Now let's pivot from security to accuracy. Hallucinations are the biggest destroyer of trust in AI. How does the Agentblazer prevent this? This is where data grounding becomes, I think, the most crucial technical skill.
Data grounding is the technical practice that inoculates the agent against generating false information. It is the process of, well, force-feeding agents specific, current, and reliable business facts, the proprietary internal knowledge, to prevent them from relying solely on their generalized and potentially outdated training data.
You're forcing it to cite its sources.
You're forcing it to cite its sources from your trusted knowledge base.
This fundamentally changes the role of Data Cloud. It's no longer just an analytics tool. It is now the intelligence substrate for the entire system.
That's a great way to put it. Data Cloud transitions from a reporting warehouse to the brain's food source. It acts as the unified, centralized repository, the single source of truth, that the Agentforce platform must query to fulfill any complex request. If the data is not in Data Cloud, the agent has to be designed to state, I cannot find this information, rather than inventing an answer.
And to make this process efficient, the platform uses Retrieval Augmented Generation, or AG. But this isn't just basic searching, is it?
No, it's highly sophisticated RAG, including what's called ensemble RAG. Agents need to search across two fundamentally different types of data. You have your structured CRM records, like leads or accounts, and then you have vast amounts of unstructured data, internal PDFs, knowledge articles, long-form contracts. Ensemble RAG combines multiple retrieval models to efficiently query both of these data types at the same time, ensuring the agent gets a complete picture.
So if we look at that unstructured content, how does Data Cloud prepare, say, a 500-page internal compliance manual so that the AI can instantly retrieve the single paragraph relevant to a specific customer query?
That is the core technical preparation step, and it really requires Agentblazer expertise. Data Cloud pipelines ingest that unstructured content, the manuals, the documents, and they break them down into manageable, semantically coherent chunks.
Chunks, okay.
These chunks are then converted into what are called vector embeddings and indexed in a vector store for fast conceptual retrieval. And I'll tell you, poor chunking configuration is a major failure point in our implementation. It can lead to context leakage or missed information.
So the Agentblazer legend must master implementing the retrievers. What role do these play, and how do they function exactly?
The retrievers are specialized, configurable bridges. They don't just grab data, they intelligently analyze the incoming query and decide on the optimal search strategy to extract the exact relevant chunks of information from Data Cloud. That small set of trusted chunks is what enriches the LLM's prompt just before the reasoning step. This is what ensures the LLM is answering based on facts, not just generalizations.
This brings us to a key competency evaluated in the Agentforce Specialist exam, mastering the 3 distinct search types. For our listeners who are used to writing precise SQL or declarative report filters, vector search is a fundamental departure from traditional querying, isn't it?
It is a complete cognitive shift. Let's compare them. The first is keyword search. This is the closest analog to traditional SQL. It's used for exact matches, like finding a specific product ID, a case number, or an exact phrase in a document. It's precise but brittle if the query is phrased even slightly differently.
And the leap forward is the second type.
That is vector search. This method uses semantic similarity, moving beyond keywords entirely. The query is converted into a vector, a numerical representation, and the system finds the index data chunks whose vectors are closest in conceptual space.
So it understands meaning.
It understands meaning. This allows the agent to understand the concept of the query even if the exact words are absent. For example, a query about staff retention policies might retrieve documents that use phrases like employee churn and mitigation strategies or worker satisfaction frameworks.
So vector search is less like asking, show me all accounts where industry equals tech, and more like handing the agent a complex concept and trusting it to find contextually relevant documents across the entire knowledge base.
That is the architectural leap. And the third type, which is the most robust, is hybrid search. This combines the precision of keyword search, so you can ensure factual identifiers like case numbers are found, with the conceptual power of vector search. This maximizes accuracy and relevance, which is essential for complex or ambiguous requests. An Agentblazer legend has to understand the trade-offs and configuration of all 3 to deploy a stable, factual agent.
Okay, so we've established that agents can reason, and they are grounded in trusted data. But what makes Agentforce genuinely transformational is the ability for these agents to take real actions, to execute and affect the business state, not just generate a helpful summary.
This is the critical separation point. Agentforce agents execute real actions because the Atlas engine has deep, native, metadata-aware integration with the platform. It doesn't just see the data, it sees the underlying structure.
So it knows the org schema.
It knows the schema. It understands what fields are available, what existing automations like flows or Apex exist, and most importantly, it inherits and respects the security permissions of the user running the agent. If the agent is running on behalf of a service user with read-only access to accounts, it simply cannot execute an action to modify an account record. Period.
That metadata awareness is the safety net that prevents agents from randomly creating or deleting records in pursuit of a goal. It turns the AI into a good platform citizen, not some external API gone wild.
Precisely. It operates within the established enterprise security framework, and the development of these capabilities begins in the Agent Builder, which is the core focus of the Innovator status. Here, professionals configure agents specifically for sales and service needs, translating business requirements into a functional set of operational capabilities.
The Agentblazer can leverage existing platform tools for these customized actions. But, and this is a key question for me, if we're relying on flows and Apex tools built for deterministic processes to power these probabilistic agents, are we just building a more complicated version of the old brittle system?
Yeah.
Where's the real architectural safety net here?
That's a very perceptive question, and the answer lies in the reasoning loop's abstraction layer. The Agentblazer doesn't code the logic inside the agent. They expose the capability.
Okay.
A custom action built in Apex or Flow remains deterministic. That ensures that when the agent calls update shipping address, new address, the underlying Apex logic handles validation and database commits safely and predictably. The probabilistic nature is in the Atlas engine's decision to call that action and when to call it. The safety net is that the underlying platform code is deterministic, ensuring the integrity of your data remains secure, even if the agent's reasoning path is dynamic.
Let's revisit that hackathon anecdote you shared, because it perfectly illustrates this. The Agentblazer built an agent that scheduled community event speakers in under 16 hours. How does they achieve that rapid integration of old and new tools?
It was a beautiful example of Agentblazer orchestration. The hackathon team had a core need: manage speaker availability, topic acceptance, and venue booking, which touches multiple objects and external systems. The Agentblazer acted as the conductor.
Okay.
For the flow queen on the team, they exposed a custom action based on an existing flow that handled the complex multi-step process of booking a resource and sending confirmation emails.
So the agent didn't have to learn how to send emails. It just had to learn when to call the flow that sends emails.
Exactly. Meanwhile, the developer on the team had built highly specific, complex validation logic in Apex to ensure double booking never occurred, checking calendars across 3 different systems via external APIs. The Agentblazer configured a custom Apex action, exposing that crucial validation logic to the agent. So the Atlas engine dynamically composed the solution. Reasoning: I need to book the speaker. Action 1. Call Apex validation. Observation: success. Action 2. Call flow booking process. Observation: success. Final action: respond to the user. This allowed the team to deliver a production-ready solution, leveraging existing platform assets without having to rewrite any of the core logic.
So moving from the building phase to the governance phase, we have to discuss the agent development lifecycle, ADLC.
Yeah.
Since agents operate probabilistically, you can't just deploy them using traditional DevOps pipelines that were designed for predictable software. How do we ensure agent behavior remains predictable and reliable over time?
The ADLC is the answer. It's a structured, disciplined methodology design, development, testing validation, and monitoring adjustment, specifically tailored to apply DevOps rigor to the inherently probabilistic nature of AI. An Agentblazer Legend's success is really measured by their ability to shepherd an agent through this lifecycle without unexpected hallucinations or security breaches.
Let's focus on the rigorous testing phase, because this is the most non-traditional part of the ADLC for most people. How do you rigorously test something that doesn't follow rigid if-then logic?
You use the Agentforce testing center, and this is not a simple unit test environment. It's a sophisticated sandbox designed to simulate real user interactions at immense scale. Crucially, it allows batch testing of up to 500 distinct test cases per job.
500 cases.
Yes, and these test cases are designed to stress test the agent's reasoning under all kinds of diverse conditions: ambiguous queries, conflicting data, unexpected action failures, and so on.
What are the key performance metrics that define success within that testing center?
The metrics are multi-layered. First, there's completeness. Did the response include all the necessary information and cover all parts of the user's request? Second is coherence. Is the answer logical, well-written, and consistent with the agent's persona and the organizational tone? A successful response has to flow naturally.
And the third metric, latency, seems particularly crucial for customer satisfaction. Nobody likes waiting for an AI to think.
It is. Latency measures the time taken for the agent to generate the full response, including all its reasoning and action steps. If the latency is too high, say, over 3 seconds, the testing center will flag or even fail the build. Not because the answer was wrong, but because, for a human customer, that delay destroys the customer experience metric. Agentblazers have to treat speed as a security and reliability requirement.
You also mentioned this fascinating technique of using AI to evaluate other AI. This is where the human expertise steps in to set the standard for quality, right?
This is a core part of advanced validation, LLM as a judge. Agentblazer experts use a separate, highly controlled language model to evaluate the output quality of the deployed agent against a sophisticated, predefined set of success criteria. This evaluation model rigorously checks for adherence to ethical guidelines, internal policies, and most critically, it can identify subtle issues like noncompliance or unexpected hallucinations far more quickly and accurately than a human team could ever review 500 test cases manually.
The ultimate level of orchestration mastery involves multi-agent systems, MAS, where multiple specialized agents, maybe a sales agent, a marketing agent, and a service agent, have to collaborate to handle a single complex task. This requires a formalized communication standard, I assume.
Absolutely. When agents collaborate, they need structured communication protocols. They can't just pass text back and forth. The first is the Model Context Protocol, MCP. This is essential for shared awareness. The MCP ensures that all participating agents maintain a common, up-to-date understanding of the overall task, the current state of the transaction, and the goal.
So if we have a sales agent and a service agent collaborating on a complex renewal quote that involves a service concession, how does the MCP prevent confusion?
The MCP maintains the global state. So if the sales agent offers a 10% discount and records that decision, the MCP immediately propagates this context to the other agents. When the service agent then intervenes to check the customer satisfaction score, the MCP ensures the service agent doesn't accidentally offer a second, conflicting 20% discount. It keeps them aligned on the single source of truth for that task.
And what about flexible peer-to-peer task requests between the agents?
That's managed by the agent-to-agent A2A protocol. This is used for delegation and flexible communication. It enables agents to send specific updates or functional requests directly to one another. For example, the sales agent asking the inventory agent, check current stock levels for SKU 456. This architecture improves scalability and reduces latency by removing the need for every single communication to route through a central orchestrator.
Yeah, and finally, the Agentblazer must ensure these digital teams integrate seamlessly into the human environment, often within collaboration tools like Slack.
The operational reality is that many complex tasks begin and end in Slack or similar interfaces. Agentblazers have to know how to deploy and connect their agents directly into these channels, effectively turning the AI into a functional, context-aware teammate. This connection requires configuring the agents to access chat history via enterprise search, enabling them to provide relevant, context-aware assistance directly within the human flow of conversation, using all that data grounding we discussed earlier.
So all of this complex, multi-layered knowledge reasoning, security, grounding, orchestration, it has to culminate in some kind of verifiable, structured path for professionals.
It does. And the Agentblazer status roadmap is intentionally segmented into 3 levels to guide professionals toward complete mastery of this agentic enterprise.
Okay, let's review that roadmap, starting with the foundation that everyone needs to master first.
Level 1 is Champion. This focuses on the essential fundamentals. It requires understanding the core AI concepts, being able to clearly articulate the business impact of Agentforce, the why the company even needs autonomous agents, and then successfully completing the basic hands-on requirements to build your very first functional agent. It establishes the baseline for ethical competence and foundational knowledge about the trust layer.
And moving from that foundational knowledge to actual implementation and strategy requires the next leap.
That's level 2, Innovator. This level is focused on practical, strategic application. Innovators transition from theory to deployment. They master identifying high-value business use cases and building customized agents. This involves deep work with existing platform tools, specifically leveraging flows and designing tailored prompt templates to meet specific service or sales objectives. They are the tactical deployment experts.
And the pinnacle, the title that denotes true architectural command, is the legend status.
Level 3 is Legend. This signifies the pinnacle of architectural mastery required to build and govern an entire force of digital labor. To reach Legend, a professional must demonstrate a deep end-to-end understanding of the full agent development lifecycle, the ADLC. That includes the complex orchestration of multi-agent systems and sophisticated customization using Apex and advanced prompt engineering. And critically, achieving Legend status obligatorily requires passing the Agentforce Specialist certification. The cert is what validates that necessary architectural depth.
Which brings us to the formal validation itself. The Salesforce Certified Agentforce Specialist AI 201 exam. This certification is the yardstick that measures real-world readiness and the comprehensive architectural understanding required to operate at that legend tier.
And it's vital to acknowledge the significance of this exam's existence. It formally replaces the older, more generalized AI specialist certification starting in March 2025. This replacement isn't a mere refresh, it's a wholesale architectural shift in what's being validated.
How so?
The old certification focused broadly on predictive AI and basic chatbots. The AI 201 pivots entirely to validating expertise in agent reasoning and multi-agent orchestration. This is market telling you very clearly what skills matter now.
The exam domain weighting is the roadmap for where the industry is placing its bets on future expertise. Where should professionals dedicate the bulk of their focus?
The weighting heavily confirms that understanding the mechanics of these autonomous systems is paramount. The largest domain is AI agents, concepts and functioning, accounting for a huge 35% of the exam.
35%.
Yes. This domain focuses directly on the Atlas engine, the React loop, the dynamic composition of actions, and how agents fundamentally reason and plan their steps. If you don't grasp that cognitive core, you simply cannot pass.
So understanding the how and why the agent chooses a dynamic path is the largest barrier to entry. What about ensuring that path is accurate?
That connects to the next two largest domains, which are weighted equally at 20% each. Prompt engineering accounts for 20%. This is about the art and science of guiding the agent through effective prompt templates, applying the necessary grounding techniques, and ensuring adherence to ethical boundaries for consistent, reliable responses. It's the governance of a language.
And the other 20% dedicated to accuracy.
That is Data Cloud for Agentforce. This validates mastery over the crucial grounding mechanisms we discussed: unstructured data chunking, indexing for vector storage, library configuration, and the nuanced application of retrievers. An ungrounded agent is a useless agent, and this domain ensures you can configure that factual foundation.
And the final two segments cover structured management and the future of collaboration.
Correct. The development lifecycle, covering the ADLC, rigorous testing using the testing center, validation metrics, and continuous monitoring, is 20%. And the newest emerging area of focus, multi-agent interoperability, the MCP and A2A protocols, accounts for the remaining 5%. While it's a smaller percentage now, this domain signifies the direction of high-level, complex AI architecture.
And the platform is making a clear effort to accelerate the development of this new talent pool. There's a huge incentive for professionals to start this journey now.
A huge one. The platform is clearly emphasizing the urgency of achieving this skill set by offering the first attempt at the Agentforce Specialist certification for free. This offer is valid through December 31st, 2025. This isn't just a perk, it's an urgent call to action. It removes the financial barrier to expertise, highlighting just how critical the rapid adoption of the Agentblazer skill set is to the entire ecosystem's transition. This window of opportunity is time-sensitive and should be treated as a professional priority.
Okay. We've established the technical depth, but let's bring it back to the bottom line for the listener. Why should you care? How does achieving Agentblazer Legend status and the Agentforce Specialist certification translate into tangible career advancement and a competitive advantage in the market?
The Agentblazer status is a direct and verifiable answer to the market's demand for real AI proficiency. The certification acts as the concrete, third-party credential that confirms you are proficient in the most advanced, fastest-growing segment of enterprise tech AI-driven automation. In a competitive job market, this certification serves as an immediate differentiator.
What are the expected returns on this investment in expertise, particularly when it comes to compensation?
Well, the return on investment is significant. We're seeing market data indicating that certified professionals who attain Agentblazer Legend status and specialize in this automation space can expect salary increases, often ranging from 20% to 30% compared to peers who maintain traditional deterministic admin or developer skill sets. This is a premium placed on the ability to architect autonomous solutions at scale.
And this validates skills across the entire ecosystem. Which roles specifically are seeing the most dramatic benefit from this specialization?
Every role benefits, but specialization accelerates specific career paths. Admins move from configuring screens to orchestrating digital workforces. Developers shift from coding every single business rule to building reusable, robust action services for agents to consume. Consultants become strategists for the agentic enterprise. And most significantly, this certification provides the verifiable architectural skills necessary for high-demand, high-compensation roles like the AI solutions architect.
And what does that mean in real terms, dollar amounts?
The average U.S. salary for an AI solutions architect is is reported to be around $145,000 and often significantly higher depending on the market and complexity of the deployment. The Agentforce Specialist certification validates the exact knowledge-based governance, ADLC, multi-agent systems required to step into that lucrative leadership level role.
Ultimately, the certification validates the ability to drive measurable business outcomes, not just deploy cool technology. How do we quantify the success of an Agentblazer's work in the executive suite?
The focus is strictly on quantifiable results in key business areas. Firstly, operational efficiency. Agentblazers automate repetitive, time-consuming processes, things like data reconciliation, order management bottlenecks, or initial service triage. Success is measured by the reduction in manual intervention time, the minimization of human error rates, and the increase in transaction throughput. If a manual process took 30 minutes and the agent does it in 30 seconds with 99% accuracy, that is the Agentblazer's measurable win.
And on the customer experience side, which can be harder to quantify,
Agentblazer expertise translates into a dramatically improved customer experience, or CX. Autonomous agents enable hyper-personalized and proactive support by leveraging grounded data. For example, in Service Cloud, agents can monitor real-time platform events, like a server outage or a delivery delay, and autonomously intervene to notify the customer before the customer even raises a complaint. This proactive intervention significantly boosts customer satisfaction and retention scores.
do we have specific high-level data points that prove the rigorous governance and monitoring required by the ADLC actually improve performance?
We do. The entire ADLC methodology is built on data. One major enterprise use case demonstrated the power of the continuous monitoring required by Agentblazer Legends. By actively monitoring the real-time operational health signals, the platform event throughput and agent statuses, they were able to optimize the system infrastructure, which led to a 67% reduction in agent lag during peak high-traffic windows.
A 67% reduction in lag is enormous. That translates directly to system stability and preventing the system freezes and disconnects that just destroy the user experience.
It's the difference between a functional, high-performing digital workforce and one that collapses under pressure. And this example reinforces that Agentblazers are not just deploying technology. They are engineering high availability, stability, and efficiency at an autonomous scale.
This is especially vital for smaller organizations, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. For small businesses, this certification is perhaps even more crucial. It's how they implement intelligent automation to achieve rapid growth and scale without the massive operational overhead of hiring and training endless manual staff. It is the key to scaling the company smarter, not harder.
Okay, let's consolidate the mission here. The Agentblazer status is not a simple trailhead badge. It is a commitment to lead the inevitable transition to the agentic enterprise. Achieving Legend status and the Agentforce Specialist certification signifies mastery over the three core pillars of modern AI architecture. Autonomous action powered by the dynamic Atlas engine, trusted data grounding achieved through rigorous data cloud ORIDE configuration, and complex multi-system orchestration across both deterministic tools like flows and probabilistic multi-agent protocols.
We've established that the shift is happening, and the resulting skill gap is wide. You now understand that the quality and reliability of your autonomous agents will always be a direct reflection of the humans who build, govern, and guide them through the ADLC. The fundamental question for every platform professional is no longer if you will work with autonomous AI, but how you will acquire the foundational Agentblazer skills necessary to design, evaluate, and successfully leverage its performance across your organization.
The time to act is now. With the first attempt at the Agentforce Specialist certification available for free through December 31st, 2025, there has never been a more financially viable moment to invest in the future of your career. We strongly encourage you to begin your journey to Agentblazer champion status today.
And remember the goal. Master the foundation, understand the trust boundaries, and start experimenting with these autonomous actions. The professional who masters the autonomous agent will lead the market. The real question is whether you have the expertise necessary to design the next generation of work, or if you will be designing your own obsolescence.
Follow CRM Position for more deep dives into the technology shaping the future of the platform. We will see you next time.